What I want to share with you today are the 10 most common pitfalls I see in somebody's diet that can prevent somebody from moving forward with their weight loss while on a GLP-1. So if you're on Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy, Tirzepatide, whatever GLP-1 you're on, whether you're just getting started or you've been doing this and you're stalled out, this is going to be very helpful for you. I'm Dr. James Stirrett. I'm a functional medicine doctor specializing in weight loss and hormone balance. Keep in mind, my philosophy on these GLP-1 medications is for you to be able to lose weight at the lowest effective dose without falling into the trap where your doctor just doubles your dosage every month ongoing until you end up on the highest dosage of the medication. Let's jump in. Big dietary mistake number 1 is going to be coffee with creamer in the morning on an empty stomach. This is problematic on multiple levels, especially if you have your coffee, your creamer, and you don't eat anything else along with it, and you go about your day and you wait and fast until lunch. The first issue is that coffee on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, is gonna bump up cortisol really high, and this is going to cause blood sugar instability onward throughout the rest of the day. The second issue with your creamer in your coffee is just simply the creamer itself is typically inflammatory. Now, most creamers on the market are terrible for you, your coffee mate, and I find that most patients feel like it's like their one little vice. I'm like, oh, well, it's just a tablespoon of my coffee mate. If that creamer contains sugar or artificial sugars, that's not great. If that creamer contains milk, which it almost always will, then now you have a pretty much perfect storm of intestinal disruption. In my opinion, I find that most people are very sensitive to dairy products and that they can slow down weight loss. Also keep in mind that most people with a very slow metabolism have had a tendency to skip one or more meals per day, especially breakfast. I try to get patients in the routine of actually eating breakfast daily and having a high protein meal. So mistake number 2 that I see is oatmeal in the mornings. Patients will say, what? It's a really healthy breakfast. How do we usually prepare oatmeal? You chop up some fruit and put it in there. Then you have to put some honey on it because it doesn't taste good by itself. Then you got to put your fake oat milk in there. And by the end of the thing, even if you do add a tablespoon of peanut butter or nut butter to it for protein, it's still a glycemic bomb. And you're going to crash and probably lose blood sugar control throughout the rest of your day. And so it's better for people to just stop eating oatmeal by itself altogether. Mistake number 3, I call the salad trap. A lot of people, when they're trying to lose weight, they will say, oh, I just eat a lot of salads. And I'll say, okay, like, well, give me an example. They'll say, well, I will pack lettuce. I'll just throw a bunch of vegetables and some chicken in a container. And that's what I take with me to work. And I'll ask them one question always. Do you get gas or bloating after you eat the salad? And almost always people will say, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I eat the salad and I get bloated, but I feel like it's supposed to be good for me, so I just keep doing it. And my answer to that would be, you want to take a closer look at the salad. There's nothing wrong innately with salads themselves, but you want to take a look at the vegetables, the vegetables that you're putting in your salad, because they may be difficult to digest. So any brassica vegetables or broccoli, Brussels sprouts, they tend to be very difficult to digest. And so if you are struggling, if your digestive system is impaired at all, what will happen is those foods will sit too long in the gut. They'll start to ferment, and that's why you'll start to get bloated and burpy afterwards. Same thing can happen with cabbage. The secret here is if you are struggling with bloating after eating your salads, just make sure that your vegetables are cooked instead. So you can have your protein in your cooked vegetables, and a lot of times that will be tolerated far better. Numero 4 is going to be Fairlife protein shakes. If you've watched this channel before, you know I'm not the biggest fan of dairy when it comes to weight loss. Fairlife makes these claims that the milk has been treated in a way that takes out the stuff that's bad for you, keeps that high protein content, and it's easier to digest. However, a lot of my patients that I see on a daily basis that come into the program are literally already on Fairlife and already on a GLP-1 and not losing weight coincidentally. What is my big dairy test with people? If somebody says to me, Dr. Stirrett, I'm not lactose intolerant. I don't get any digestive upset when I have dairy. I should be good to go. I will say, cool. Why don't you avoid dairy entirely for 3 weeks and then chug a glass of milk and tell me how you feel? Number 5 is going to be snacking on hummus. So hummus is one of these health foods that's been made really, really popular. These are legumes and they slow digestion down and they'll make you gassy. Anything that's going to do that will ultimately slow weight loss down, just because when food is digested slowly, it can cause a little bit of inflammation that results in water retention. And if you look at the commonalities across weight loss programs that exist, legumes are not typically advised. Number 6 is going to be cheese. What happens with cheese is it's similar to the other dairy products that I've discussed so far today. It ends up on everything. When you go out to eat, it's on your sandwiches, it's on our pizza, it's grated on our salads. Most people, when I ask them, hey, Jane, do you have much dairy in your diet? The answer is surprisingly, the answer is always no, until I prompt further, really think about it. Or we do a diet diary, then we can see clearly, okay, it's the dairy and the cheese specifically is coming in quite a bit, because who doesn't like cheese, right? What I would urge you to do is we want to think about your overall health, your overall inflammation, and digestion is part of that process. So in order to heal someone's digestion, a lot of times we do need to remove dairy for a time to make sure that you're not causing leaky gut for yourself. Number 7 is going to be deli meats. I want you to pay really specific attention to deli meat. Number 1, we all know that we should be getting more protein. So you think, okay, I need more meat. Let's do a sandwich. Now on a sandwich, we have 2 big pieces of bread. We got probably a piece of cheese in there. And now you pack all this deli meat in. If you are going to do deli meat, you want to make sure that it's nitrite free. You want to make sure that it's lower sodium and organic. However, there's really not that many products that fit that description on the market, and it is a processed meat at the end of the day. So is it the deli meat that's causing the problem, or is it what it's being consumed with? All I know is for patients that when they cut the deli meat and they cut the sandwiches, people start losing weight. Now, it's not like I'm completely anti-bread, but typically 2 pieces of Dave's Killer Bread with turkey meat in there and whatever else you're going to put in there is just too high on the glycemic index for your body, and you will likely have trouble on that day for the next 24 hours or so dropping weight if that's consumed. Number 8, this one's always shocking to me and very shocking for people that I work with, but tomato sauce, spicy food, any hot sauces, the nightshade family can cause a lot of intestinal damage and cause a lot of intestinal inflammation. And remember, these GLP-1 medications, they slow your digestion down. So they slow the rate that food is moving through your digestion, and they can already make you prone to things like reflux and a little bit of nausea. Now, you throw in hot sauce in there, so it's just staying in there and it's causing inflammation. It's going to cause a ruckus. It's going to cause acid imbalance. There are other nightshade vegetables here, white potato, but people tend to cut out white potato because they know that it's a high carb food. I would add back in sweet potato if I was in this case, because the sweet potato is not a nightshade, white potato is. I would avoid all hot sauces, marinaras, tomato paste, anything like that. I would cut that out entirely if I was trying to lose weight on a GLP-1. Number 9 is ditch your protein powder. You've got whey protein powder, which is dairy. This is a great gainer, meaning that it's a little bit inflammatory for the gut. So it's great for people that are looking to put on weight because it's going to cause some water retention, cause some bloating, cause some inflammation along the way. On the flip side, we have your vegan or vegetarian proteins. So things like your Vegasport or your Orgain from Costco. These are powered by pea protein. And what are peas? Peas are legumes. Remember when we were talking about hummus earlier? They're in that legume category. So they're poorly digested. And that is also going to cause some degree of gas and inflammation. Not so great for weight loss. So do we just ditch them entirely? No. Let's not. I do think if you're shooting for 80 to 120 grams of protein per day, depending on what your macros are, then sometimes it can be difficult to hit. And if you're having a stressful day and you haven't been able to cook for yourself, it's really great to have a protein shake on your side. So I like beef protein isolate. I'll list one that I like down in the description. This is the product that I use with my family. This is the product my kids drink. And this is the product that I can't recommend enough to patients that are trying to lose weight in a sustainable way. Number 10, let's talk about eating out for a second. When a patient tells me that everything's going well, they're doing everything by the book, they're eating exactly what I've recommended, one of the first questions I'll always ask is, okay, great. How often are you eating out? A lot of times I'll hear somebody say, oh, I've been traveling a lot for work lately. I've been having to eat a lot in airports. I've been having a lot to eat out with clients. I've stuck with the program. I've still eaten healthy. Trouble is that when you do not cook for yourself, eating out means hidden inflammation because most restaurants cook with soybean or canola oil, and this disrupts your hormones and your metabolism. You should be cooking at home with avocado, olive oil, coconut oil whenever you can, just to protect the influx of seed oils that can stall weight loss just by themselves. So it's not the food itself, it's how the food is actually being prepared. My goal for each and every patient is to ultimately come off of this medication or stay at the lowest effective dosage or microdose over time. In this way, we want to use GLP-1s as a tool just to reset your metabolism, build these new habits that are going to propel you into the future to be sustainable, healthier version of yourself and not be reliant on the medications for the rest of your life. If you're currently looking for a weight loss program that provides GLP-1s, has a functional medicine aspect where we look at all of your blood work prior to starting and design a program that's specific to you, supplements, nutrition, microdosing GLP-1s, and your progress is monitored over time through blood work, then click the link below to apply to work with us. If you got value out of this video, please like, subscribe, share it with somebody who's making one of these 10 dietary mistakes out there on a GLP-1, and I will see you guys next week. God bless.